All right. So I know we have some new folks with us. I want to share a little bit about who we are at EBHO and why Affordable Housing Month is so important. So since 1984, East Bay Housing Organizations, also known as EBHO, affectionately known as EBHO, has worked with our members and our community to create, preserve, and protect affordable housing opportunities for low-income communities throughout the East Bay by advocating, organizing, educating, and building coalitions. And we celebrate Affordable Housing Month all of May to call attention to the housing affordability crisis, to lift up solutions like we're going to do today, and to celebrate our achievements. And this year marks our 25th annual Affordable Housing Month. That is phenomenal. And this year we had 13 events across Alameda and Contra Costa counties. Now we're towards the end of the month, so most things have passed, but we still have a few events left. We hope that you can join them. They're recordings from the previous events. So if you want to have another lunchtime learning session, I invite you to pop onto one of those, push play, and enjoy the content. So they're all free, they're all virtual. We hope you can join us. We believe that communities are healthiest and most powerful when we have quality, affordable homes for all. And when those most affected by the housing crisis can shape their own futures. So during this month, again, we celebrate, we learn, we will dream. And as we close out Affordable Housing Month, we want to make sure that we take action. Okay. All of this is supported by our sponsors. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to put these events on. So we want to give a special thank you to our sponsors who have funded the entire month and all 13 events and our study room. So we want to give a special thank you to them for continuing to support EBHO and our work. Thank you, Grover, for sharing that. All right, so we know that we're inviting you to share some things that can be vulnerable. And in order for us to feel comfortable, to lean in and to create a safe space, we want to set some community agreements. So I'm going to pass it over to our administrative associate, Aziza Graham, to go over those. Aziza.
Thank you so much, Kiki. Good afternoon, everyone. As we gather here today to reflect and reimagine safer communities, we ask that everyone be mindful of the following community agreements to keep this space a safe and productive space for all. The first of these agreements being, this space is what we make it. We ask that you respect everyone's time by doing what you need to be present for yourself and the group. The next agreement is individual needs are community needs, to create a space in which the access needs of everyone are met, thereby creating the conditions for positive social change. The third agreement is that we seek an equitable balance of perspectives, speaking from our own experiences using I statements and listening to understand rather than responding. The last of these agreements being that we value curiosity over criticism, starting from a place of respect and assuming positive intent and mutual commitments. Do you agree with these agreements? Does anyone want to add an agreement? And if so, feel free to add these in the chat. We'll give you a couple seconds here. Great, thank you. We'll move on. We'll take anything that's been added to the chat and continue, but please feel free to keep adding to this list. And remember, this space is what we make it. We will now hand it back over to Alex to walk us through and acknowledge the original people of the East Bay land.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alex. I'm the policy manager at EBHO. And I wanted to start us off today by acknowledging the fact that the East Bay the place where we live, work, and fight so that everyone has a home, is the unceded territory of the Liskyan Ohlone people and the original homeland of the Ohlone, Bay Miwok, and Delta Yokuts. Today, we gather to reimagine what community safety could look like here in the East Bay. This land acknowledgement, this act of naming that we're on Indigenous land, is at its root an act of reimagining who owns and who belongs in our communities. I'm hopeful that right now on your screen, you can see a map of the Bay Area, but I bet it doesn't look like most of the maps you've seen. Sure, you can make out the bay in the center and San Francisco kind of reaching up like a little finger, but gone are the lines that divide one city from the next. Gone are names like Oakland or Richmond or Walnut Creek. Instead, this map shows the names of the native communities that existed here prior to colonization. These names and communities were erased through maps that served to reimagine this land as property that non-native settlers could take and own. The current injustices in our communities, including homelessness, displacement, racial profiling, and police brutality, were all built on top of these colonial maps. But today, we gather because just as someone imagined this land as a place where Native people didn't belong, we can reimagine it as a place where marginalized people can find safety, healing, and opportunity. May our work today be free of the old maps, free of the old rules and definitions, and may we show up to support the reimagining of community being led by our Indigenous neighbors. In that spirit, EBHO is in the process of paying Shumi, a voluntary land tax that supports the work of the Sagorate Land Trust, which returns Ohlone land to Ohlone people, and we'll be engaging with our members and supporters later this year to encourage you all to do the same. So thank you for being here, thank you for participating, and stay tuned.
All right. Thank you so much, Alex, for that. I'm going to pass it over now to Ronnie, our faith and justice community organizer, who's going to give us a little framework when we're talking about defund the police and reimagining public safety. Ronnie?
Good afternoon, everyone. We at EBHO have been having conversations with community members and other organizations about the idea of defunding the police and reimagining community safety. When it comes to community safety, we often think of policing as a resource and practice for us to rely on in case of an emergency. However, with the overwhelming amount of deaths of Black and Brown people at the hands of police, our movements are looking to other means to keep us safe. Advocates for defunding the police argue that the police have a bloated budget, while in contrast, community resources such as transportation, housing, parks and recreation, and restorative justice programs are highly underfunded and in need of support. So the Reimagining Public Safety Task Force put together a list of recommendations for the Oakland Police Department to improve its practices and to make policing less harmful on the community. And what I found interesting about that is that 3 of the demands deal with housing and homelessness, as OPD polices curbside communities in excess. So if we defund the police, there will be more money for things like affordable housing. And it is, in essence, a reallocation of resources for community benefit. If people are homeless on the street, and they're vulnerable to police harassment. And putting people in homes not only keeps them safe, it allows them an opportunity to thrive. So as we talk today about reimagining community safety, I invite you to think beyond this world and think of what could be possible under the best conditions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronnie. Okay, so we have some framework. Now we're going to jump into the envisioning practice, into the activity itself. So we had invited folks to pop into the chat what safety meant to them. And so I jotted a few down, and I wanted to kind of lump them together so we have a starting point. So people said having your needs met, being able to bring your full self, space to feel joy, free from harm, free from worry or anxiety, communities and having the resources that they need for the full being all that you are, and bringing your full self to, I think bringing your full self to anywhere, right? Whether it's work, whether you're somewhere out into community, being able to bring your full self means having this space, the safe space at home, where you go to rest and to recharge. Yes. So as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about all the things that make me feel safe. So let's get into the activity, because I'm kind of excited for this myself, to have a moment to dream. So I don't know about you, but in the evening when it's time for me to lay my head to dream, I like to play a little bit of mood music. I say it's for my dog, but it really is for me. I think I end up falling asleep before she does. So, so this is a time to dream, which means it's a time to get comfortable. So let's take a moment. We're going to get grounded in this moment. I know that, we're here during lunch. So you may have work emails to attend to later, and you've got some deadlines and you've got errands to run. But for now, for the next 5 to 10 minutes, we're just going to dream, and then we're going to reflect. So I want you can turn off your cameras if you like, but I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and to get into this moment. Let me get this music going for you. And can you guys hear that? Can I get a thumbs up, Aziza? Ron? All right. Okay. All right. So we're going to take a couple of deep breaths. And as you do that, I want you to get settled into wherever you are. If you're standing, if you're sitting, you're going to get your feet planted. You're going to feel the space around you. So let's take a nice deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Put your hands on your heart, on your stomach. Feel yourself. Feel the breath move in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Wiggle your shoulders a little bit. Get really situated. Get real comfortable. We're going to be here. We're going to dream. I want to feel comfortable in my dreams. Inhale. And exhale. So we're talking safety. Let's dream about safety. So I want you to think about a place in your home that you feel safe. I want you to go to that place. For some, that may be your bed. That may be the corner of the couch where you can watch your family play. That may be the kitchen, that spot in the kitchen that's just for the adults. It may be that seat where you can look out into the greenery, to your yard, to flowers. Find that space. And now look around you. Look at all of the different rooms in your home. What feels safe about your home? Is it the structure itself? Is it the people in the home that you share this space with? Do they make you feel safe? Think about why that feels safe to you. And now I want you to think about what does not feel safe within your home. And maybe that's the people you're sharing space with. Maybe they don't feel so safe. Maybe you're dealing with mold or an unsafe relationship with your landlord. What does not feel safe? And take a moment and think about how you can handle that situation or those things that don't feel safe, that does not require calling the police. What else can we do to address those things in our home that don't feel safe to us? Let's take a step outside. Feel the sun on you. What feels safe about your home, the exterior? Let's look at your home. Maybe again, it's the structure. Is there a fence? Is it your neighbor? What feels safe about your home on the exterior? Now think about what does not feel so safe. Is the structure bad? Are you currently unhoused? What does not feel safe? And think about how we can address that unsafety. What can be done to change that and shift it so this thing that does not feel safe about the exterior can now feel safe? And now let's think about one block down in each direction. Let's look at our neighborhood, just our immediate neighborhood. What's in your neighborhood? Are there corner stores? Is there a park? A gas station? Maybe there's the forest. Maybe it's just land. What feels comforting and safe about your neighborhood? Let's give appreciation to those things that feel safe to us. Now take another look. What doesn't feel so safe? Are there cars speeding by? Is there illegal dumping? Potholes? What does not feel safe just in your neighborhood? Let's take a deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. I want you to come back into the house. Go back to your safe space. Give appreciation to the things that do feel safe to us. And then come back to the room with us. And turn on your cameras if you'd like. Ease on into the room. All right. Little sway. Okay. Thank you. So we're going to break into into breakout rooms. We're going to go into smaller groups. And we're going to reflect on this a bit. I want to invite you to think about what that brought up for you and what surprised you. What surprised you about thinking about what feels safe and what doesn't feel safe? We're going to look at what some common themes are for us. And of course, please honor yourself. Again, this is community. We have community agreements. This space is what we make it. So if you do not feel comfortable sharing, then you don't have to. This is a place for us to dream together, explore together, and we're going to explore alternative solutions. Okay.